You don't run this prison. I do.
Hi everyone, this is Ingi from Taringi, and today I wrote a blog about revenge. Tomorrow my favorite TV show of all times are airing its final season, and it's Wentworth. So I want to go through this topic of revenge, looking through the lens of some of the most celebrated Wentworth characters.
You're not a protector. You're the grim fucking reaper.
The main card that really speaks of revenge or getting back at someone is Five of Swords. This card speaks of making it really obvious as well who you are as someone seeking revenge, like someone not to be messed with. This is part of the stage card, the double lines. It's almost like you want people to know, if you get this card, that you're not someone to be messed with. You're not gonna back down, and if someone messes with you, you're gonna get them back. There's a lot of fire here, you know, the red hair. This is why I think Bea Smith is perfect as an example for this character. She has a flaming red hair. She rose, you know, in the series she rose to the top in Wentworth, but it didn't come without making enemies and without having to do horrible things to other people. She seeks revenge many times in the show. This video will actually have a few spoilers, so but she seeks revenge to try and find peace and justice for herself.
Now we've got a top dog who'd rather protect the screw she's fucking.
And she's a force to be reckoned with. But generally speaking, Five of Swords, it speaks of conflict. And if you get Five of Swords reversed, there is often conflict that doesn't lead to anywhere. Like in Wentworth, when Bea Smith has conflict, it's the game she's playing is that she wants to get more authority. She wants to have more say, more control in her life. But when it's reversed, it's almost like there's no method to the madness. There's just conflict for the sake of having conflict. When this is a really negative card, it can mean someone who needs to hurt others to feel good about themselves. They're actually hurting others on purpose, and often seeking people out who are actually also very vulnerable. So with all of the characters that I'll show you, they all kind of blend in many more archetypes in the tarot cards than just the ones I've given them. For example, Bea Smith with Five of Swords, slapping everybody around, putting everybody in their place, but she's also justice as well, seeking her own revenge where the system has failed her.
You're a filthy whore, little top dog whore. You're just drawn to strong women, aren't you? First Kaz, and then Bea, and now me. You like to fly in our orbit, little star fucker. If only Bea could see us now. There's no easy way out for you. The love of your life just died for nothing.
The Devil card. This card here is it speaks of someone very controlling. So Joan Ferguson, she's the most controlling one. She wants to control everybody, and no one can exist without her stirring, controlling. She decides what happens at all times. She punishes everyone and anyone who tries to have individuality, who wants to have their own life and plan. Like, she doesn't want anyone to ever leave her prison. Like, she tries to sabotage everyone's parole and everyone's relationships and everyone's connections to the outside. She seeks to destroy all of that. That's the Devil card, you know. The Devil card is a very bad influence, and when it's a obsessed and very possessive energy. And that's what Joan Ferguson, certainly, she does not want to give anyone any freedom. That's why she works in a prison. And she doesn't want anyone to have a life outside of prison. And if anyone ever leaves prison, she wants to make sure they end up back in prison again. Interestingly enough, she also ends up in prison, but she controls it then from the inside. So the main goal here is for the devil is it's control.
Make us suffer.
And they have their self-worth from taking others' worth away. They break other people down to feel good about themselves. So it's this one is like day-to-day conflict, bullying, harassment, being put in your place. There's the lack of individuality and freedom here as well, but it becomes very systematic when it is the devil card, because this person often seek out positions of power as well.
Who would have thought all that time the real monster was in bed beside you?
I am in here!
So the star, I put the star reversed like this. The star really comes as a card of healing. So it's like having escaped this and all the trauma that often comes with it. But then once you're free. And this is about how incredibly joyful that moment is for someone who can be themselves again after being in the clutches and the claws of someone like the devil archetype. And I'm speaking of the devil archetype here in a very extreme way. But when it's reversed, it's almost then like they're unable to heal because this influence will just never ever go away. Like Ferguson ended up in prison, but she still tortures everyone. She still is such a negative influence. There's no escape. So even when there is an escape, the trauma and the wound and the loss, they're all just too much for the seeker. So where there should be healing, then there is no healing. So that can lead the seeker to seek revenge, as you saw. Will buries Ferguson alive. That's completely out of his character, but he's been pushed and pushed and pushed. And where he should be healing from her, he actually has to get rid of her altogether, which leaves him actually quite haunted by his actions. The star can also mean, and I'm not talking Wentworth, I'm just talking in general, when someone has been a little bit brainwashed by a society that makes them think a certain way and makes them resent and hate, but it's actually, it can be a generational thing, like being taught by others who have gone through maybe a lot of hardship, that now the seeker actually, they're born into a different time, new opportunities, where they should be, grabbing opportunities and living their lives. Instead, they live out the traumas of the forefathers who were at disadvantage. So what they need to do is to learn to be an individual, think individually, be your own person, honor your ancestors and your past, but don't let their struggles define you. So that can be the star reversed as well, when someone can't break free from a belief system that want to program the seeker to be quite revengeful in their thoughts and in their actions. Okay, Queen of Pentacles. This might surprise you because Queen of Pentacles upright is such a loving card, but when it is reversed, it becomes something different, like someone who is quite obsessed with status as well, who overcompensates with material things, where they have an emotional trauma and a wound that never really healed, This is someone who often becomes a workaholic, who wants to get ahead at all costs, who's always working, but also working because it gives them status, and what they really want more than anything is a lot of recognition and power, and they will get rid of everyone who gets in their way. I'm not talking about Queen of Pentacles reversed because someone hasn't got life-work balance. I'm talking when it's an extreme negative, potent negative influence in your life. At its most extreme, you know, it's become someone very greedy, who's motivated by greed. And in Wentworth, that's Sonia, you know, sinister Sonia. She's the one who has great wealth, a businesswoman, but who's a sociopath, you know, who plots great schemes and who seeks revenge on anyone who dares to question her authority or cross her in any kind of way. A little bit similar actually to the Devil card.
You were right about everything, really. You were the perfect Patsy. So sad and needy, such a desperado. Don't you worry about this witness X nonsense. I've told Susan, mum's the word. I don't want anyone exacting retribution on you for your betrayal. I want to deal with you myself. In my own unique way.
Okay, so justice, both upright and reversed. This is someone who seeks justice. When it's upright, and it's surrounded maybe with negative cards, maybe you just feel like there's something a bit off. You have to also use your intuition when you read. And then maybe it's someone who's seeking their own justice in some way, not going through the system, or maybe the system has let them down, especially if it is reversed, you know. That's what Bea Smith did in Wentworth when she couldn't get justice for what happened to her, you know. She had to get justice for her daughter.
Debbie made it easy for Braden. She was so desperate for attention that when he gave it to her, she let him do anything. Sex, drugs.
I knew it. I knew it.
All the signs were there, but you ignored them. You pushed her away. You convinced yourself that everything was fine. You didn't want to see that Debbie was just like you.
You know nothing.
And I almost felt sorry for her. And then I thought, what's she got to look forward to? A life just like her mother's. It was a kindness, really, putting her out of her misery. She was better off dead.
So Bea really seeks revenge many times in Wentworth, in quite spectacular ways as well. If you get this card as an archetype for someone who is, maybe they're struggling a little bit as well, maybe they are in their mind, they constantly feel like they have to fight evil, they can't just relax and be in the flow. They're always looking for who's good, who's bad, and they need to kind of point the finger. They believe it, they're morally obligated to fight evil all the time, but they don't really know where evil is or what it actually looks like. They're not really qualified, especially if it's reversed. They often get it wrong and they point the finger at the wrong person and exhaust themselves in that quest of righting wrongs, even when it's not needed. And they can actually also be very easily manipulated because they have that mental attitude. Queen of Swords, both upright and reversed, speaks of the woman scorned. When it's reversed, it can often mean someone who's in it even deeper than upright. This is actually quite a good card to get because this is someone witty, funny, and they do care about doing the right thing, but they can also get very much, they buy into the drama of everything, and they can get obsessed with wanting to seek justice in a way that it looks more like revenge more than anything else. And Cass, she is the one who I really believe is Queen of Swords in Wentworth.
Drop the wrench. Drop the fucking wrench. Drop the wrench.
This has nothing to do with you. You are invisible.
Leave her alone.
You can't protect her forever. No one can take care of Liz like I can. You're
but she often gets it wrong as well. So she's also judgment, which I'll talk about a little later. But that's more like judgment reversed. She hasn't got a good judgment always. Sometimes she has poor judgment, but it's because of her emotional scars and wounds. And she became obsessed with justice as well, similar to Bea Smith. But on a larger scale, she seeks justice as a vigilante, you know. And but she wants to really protect people. That's what motivates her, and you see that in Queen of Swords as well. So she wants to protect people and women. So she believes women are very, very vulnerable and needs protecting at all costs, you know. So when she's in prison, she wants to give all the women protection. But then she ends up hurting a lot of women trying to protect them. And that's a very typical thing for Queen of Swords, actually. They try too hard sometimes to do good, and then they end up doing bad instead. Especially, you know, if it's reversed. And they often have some problems in relationships. They need to heal from their past, you know.
I did it. I killed Sonia Stevens.
Okay, so I have the High Priestess reversed. So Jackie is like the matriarch in her family. She's in this crime family, and the High Priestess often speaks of someone who is a matriarch in some way. She's an influential woman in your life. But when it's reversed, it can mean that you have problems with the women in your life.
Back off me! Hey!
Stop struggling and let's get this over with. All right, Bea. Do the honors. Don't make me repeat myself. I hate repeating myself. If you'd minded your own business, Bea wouldn't have to do this. Do it.
Don't do it, Red.
So in Wentworth, Jackie, she gets let down a lot by her family because she made a big sacrifice for her family, which she did out of believing in them, believing that they were strong together. But they let her down, and I think that she became extremely bitter, you know. And she becomes a very evil, bitter woman.
Up against the wall, please.
Okay, so Page of Swords is someone who is very clever. They find life quite easy and they can do whatever they want. They often end up doing so many different things because life do come to them easily. They can easily create drama out of just simply that they can, you know. Life is easy, life needs to be adventurous and fun all the time. They often, if they don't get a positive way of using their mind, they can create a lot of drama. And if it's reversed, it's someone who can be quite calculating, especially if they feel like someone is letting them down or if they've been rejected. So this is someone who doesn't take criticism very easily. Like, you know, no one likes criticism, but this is someone who, especially if it's someone they believed in or who they wanted to earn the respect from, can find that extremely difficult. So in Wentworth, this is Frankie.
Why are you doing it? What are you doing it for?
She told Ferguson.
Oh, bullshit, you didn't tell Ferguson. Frankie! Frankie!
Yes, she did. I set her up and she walked right into it.
It's got nothing to do with you! I heard you talking in the friggin' stairwell, Frankie. It was me! Right? It was me. I did it. It was me.
So Frankie is like she used to be a celebrity in a reality cooking show. But it didn't go very well because she lost her temper badly, and this is also why she ends up in jail. But she's like popular on social media, and she's like a star basically. And she ends up being, you know, she wants to be top dog as well. And to her, it's like she wants there to be a lot of secrets so she can run all of her schemes and scams within the prison. She always has something going on. She's always plotting something. She ends up educating herself and becoming a lawyer, and she has all these things going for her, but she also is her own worst enemy, and you see that with Page of Swords reversed especially. Page of Swords reversed is someone who, when they want revenge, I'm talking this in the context of revenge, they will try and hack your email and social media account. They might spread online stuff, and they might hurt your reputation. They might, you know, put up photos, and they do all sorts of things like that just because they feel rejected deep down. This is in the context of revenge. But this is someone, if it is reversed, someone you have to be really careful on how much you let them get access to your life, because they like to find out about everyone's secrets.
Forget about me?
Okay, so Tower. So both upright and reversed, this can speak of someone who is a bit out of control emotionally. It often speaks of like corruption as well, or that maybe even you don't realize it, but it could be at the base of everything, and why things are going wrong is because there is a lot of corruption. So it's like truthful things aren't being said, the right things aren't being done. The ripple effect then can become that a lot of bad things happen basically, and there's just in Wentworth there's a lot of corrupt politicians, like there's corrupt officials running the prisons, even down to right from the top down to prison guard, and that leads to a lot of problems for the prisoners as well.
Give me the gun.
We are leaving.
Give me that gun!
Murray!
For Denny!
Okay.
Ellie, no!
Yeah, come on. Just...
You killed Kaz.
What?
Ellie, put the gun away. Ellie, don't do it.
Listen to him.
Come on, Ellie.
Yeah, come on. You do as you're told, you stupid.
When Ali gets revenge on the prison guard who was corrupt, that's an example of Tower, but it's kind of like it's out of the blue, it's impulsive, it's not always it's not well thought of when it's a Tower. It's usually just being triggered emotionally. Someone maybe says something that sets you off, and they're really unable to handle betrayal, like then it can completely consume them, And if they feel let down, then they become unhinged, you know. But they often destroy themselves in the process with the tower.
Is it fair to say that your beliefs about protecting women led to the behaviour which brought you to Wentworth?
What do you reckon?
And since being in prison, those beliefs have actually led you to attack and kill other women. Do you agree with that?
Judgment. So judgment often speaks of good judgment, actually, and even divine inspiration and having an open mind. But when it's reversed, then it can actually become poor judgment and vigilante type behavior. As you see with Cass, she's a vigilante, and it lands her in prison, and she doesn't always choose the right perpetrators to punish. Sometimes she actually punishes, she gets it wrong, and she ends up hurting people who are innocent. And also this can be when someone's dealing with like a battle between good and evil as well.
Hoping vindication is soon to come. I follow my heart, I don't get a choice, but I've lost everything I own. Chasing something beautiful. Everything I own. Chasing something beautiful.
I was also going to talk a little bit about forgiveness, because there is one card here in the deck that speaks of forgiveness, and that's actually Six of Swords. Six of Swords speaks of when someone has gone through the process of forgiving, but also maybe letting go of old thinking as well, old patterns, and they're creating new habits for themselves and new pathways. So that's Six of Swords. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video about tarot cards as revenge cards, and let me know what you want to learn about next. Bye guys.